he will use the rules to frustrate them. Anytime our backbenchers had opportunity to be on their feet, he will use the rules to frustrate them. The rules are not meant to be used to intimidate, frustrate, and as he's trying to do, bring Parliament to a standstill. We've tolerated the first Deputy Speaker for quite some time. The majority leader will program the Minister of Finance to brief the House. Mr. Speaker, we say so because last week, when Nadmot was sharing some items, it came to light that at Nima and Mamobi, they were sharing baked beans. When we raised it, they now told us that the baked beans was not part of the procured items. It was a donation. Mr. Speaker, we don't know who and who have donated. This is an important matter that we believe the Finance Minister should brief this out. So, Mr. Speaker, you should take note. Mr. Speaker, the next issue.
Minority Leader, let me recognize the Chief Whip. He's been on his feet for some
Speaker,
time.
You want to recognize the...
Yes.
Very well, that's fine. Yes.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minority Leader.
The government has not introduced
Honorable Minority Leader, you promised to conclude. I want to know whether he's on the point of order.
I wanted to stop
so, Honorable Majority
Mr. Speaker,
Chief Whip, let me hear you. Are you on point of order? Yes, what do you want to say? If you want to challenge my directives, you know what to do.
Mr. Speaker, it's not about challenging your directives.
Very well.
Consideration stage, the rules are relaxed to allow for full debate. If you don't need our participation, you may say so,
yes,
so
debate,
that we give it to them.
On the bill.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that's exactly what we are doing.
Yes.
That's exactly what we are doing.
Yes, you don't introduce any...
Mr. Speaker, so far...
I mean, seriously? Why? Seriously? There's a workout. Taxpayers na yenti and now multi parliament jumano ayesi because my question Bank of Ghana governor. Because you see, me bet na hana me catch a lot of the things at Bank of Ghana are questionable. For instance, what the sika or pay $11 million what they acquire city stabilization. Abra come de Ghana for, abra flooding kum Ghana for, abra yesi koko sikani wa debate ya koko for. What menye sikani bi sikani ebi ni wa debate ya koko akuya for no. When you be the akwa kwa CD exchange stabilization. Who does that? Why no monkwanya? Why no da odesun yes obey this? Meanwhile, now we can no longer do the CD dollar now stabilizing into but back to square one. Now the CD exchange rate, any dollar exchange rate is back to 12. Why? Abra says $11 million says can give it maybe the same Bank of Ghana gold deposit. They have 39 tons of gold at Bank of Ghana. Oma ton amanaka 19 tons of gold. The Ethiopian question Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana no to questions to answer to the taxpayers. How did it happen? Say the taxpayers no munti na Bank of Ghana to taxpayers na yesika ye coins kakra kra ni ediboma ye di Bank of Ghana governor and staff or more no. Now the taxpayers, the ordinary Ghanaians no, through our representatives, members of parliament, we can no longer question Bank of Ghana governor. We can no longer question the governor. Seriously, we can no longer question the governor. This is the Ghana we have. The same Ghana na yeso we promoted NDC to question NPP, but NDC about their more young question Bank of Ghana governor. And see that issue also is going on. And can we say a year or more Miracle Abuaji? Me, I wouldn't defend Miracle Abuaji one day because media may say I insist politician they would be politician a cheat. So supportive politician when it comes to money. I know what you because politicians the omoya me if I am privy to what you have done. And the be fine. But I no look, I'm here for the ordinary Ghanaians. What you say? It me anything I'm here to the benefit of Ghana for you hear me. But the issue is the modus operandi, the method of operation na mu use na. Mo chen crofo no ma shada ma mu de na kosie, mo che nipa in the Rambo style. Mu wie so no ma bail conditioner on to me meet. Mama no 50 million Ghana cedis to be justified. They just uncle fast say Ghana first do send one say omukuta ngrata. Ghana for then do send no more landed property. And when I mean, let me take me comment, no, because you see, a double standard, and I'm trust the same way to Facebook. Hypocrisy and a double standard on the part of NDC. This is big time hypocrisy, big time double standard on the part of NDC, because and that double standard ni hypocrisy nya atuma broni beye na moya. Why will NDC but me see you fight corruption is understood. You obiada boa government to fight corruption because one see the crack of politician be botoma obi wu no. Because as can be to me save you be e betimi ato bed wo kolebu e betimi ato bed wo konfa noche yentia na mesbe oni akowuye no yentia na kaso ageli a wedi 27 okowuye see bed no wonto owuye one ne banyina ewuko no eti media politician nya miracle aboaji o kwa ahwan o jo Mahama kufu ado ba wo mi anwan politician be because we fast simple ni taku as long as there's evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt tie o nti na no NDC for buy a kitchen blogger so an encofo enko chasing kofo no mo de go to airport enko chi o me ka se sebe enko asem nyanse nim because Ghana ha ye law e bi na segbe fi akoka weekend or UK actually kofo now come back to that video yen sorry kekenchen kofo when there's rule of law me kan kitchen blogger na ntia se no for se me de no hu hia me sa what I say but the point I was making is Ghana Nibia the law does not lie in your anus, the law certainly does not lie in your mouth, the law does not lie in your hands. And then who and I'll bet the law near fanye. The laws now chromadija a criminal act no. And what that say was so when you reasonable cause and can what you be. And you need evidence here and coach it. And I would show this based on reasonable cause of crime. Yes, I want anybody guilty. Abu a trick I actually okay. I think America for no prove against me your reasonable doubt. What I say? Into need evidence here and coach it. But me point and it's a chinny there. And this NPP omunya reasonable cause kitu ebi omutumichi and I've given you examples kokwa nyido afoko hwan omachi omunyina and the NPP for chibi and NDC for so chibi me point and say who NDC also fight corruption NDC also ye aura ye nyina ye boa wa ma ye aura also ye aura granted to na go dey we dey support am also wo chinkofo ama corruption wa ji esika fi wo to na go dey we dey support am what you say. But what buy what filing nolly prosecutor, what discontinue cases of corruption. Ega bro. What ya was saglemi housing project. Me was saglemi ne si wono. Ya spend this sika pay. A dying was a contract and isi man when simu even 2,000 housing units. Till saglemi housing no. NPP for to a lot of people made the case na abandoned saglemi project. No. It was because there was an injunction on saglemi project because that case was court. By your friend, I digress. Come back to the issue. The issue is that what's corruption? The same corruption I call this can because any NDC any NPP ska obidi ska we di Ghana ska simplicity. Udi ska we di Ghana ska simplicity. Enti NDC for the corruption charges so to causing law financial loss to the state. A year first a malfeasance. A year first a opening case or Collins Dada case on Saglemi housing project, and then you Collins Dada, no as a politician in China. The contractor had cases to answer because Yama Sikase Sidine, when 6,005 units kura, o say yan sama of phase 2 sika, Abroni Bayenti, almost sama of phase 2 sika, Yama of phase 2 sika, the Sydney 1,500 units per and a contractor and a year, where na 1,500 units require the map teacher for most of them. Because a bona a day more matter over 200,000 Ghana cedis. Teacher for no say oh dear more let me know. You will be a toilet to cry. Just watch who says I will be a toilet door. It is not project a project a second kuko bo down on musisi hono. Yes, so amonia sewage system omanye. Onya a year first a proper a refuse collection a unit drainage a benya central a connected to Temadiano contract and so you trace Canama. This is clear case of causing financial loss to the state. First phase, you know, houses no create 1,500 units. More discontinue a Saglemi housing opening case, more discontinue. One case, more discontinue. All the cases involving NDC and then corruption, more discontinue cases. But surprisingly, allegations and no charging memo afena more charging miracles near day. Omo afena more charge and chasing your opponent, master. I know that you have no moral right to do that. And yes, you can. You when you see Piansan where you will be there. You have no moral right. What discontinue all cases and go for this car? I no kwade nka case is not traveler kon any man ti aka keto ebi anka obetumi either so be jailing ko for na obey retrieve e sika amaye continue. But NPP for one cases you are chasing them. Double standard. Double standard. Double standard. One my bail conditioner. Clearly you can see the intention of the bail conditioner is to make sure that you meet bail conditioner. Why are you doing this? Politics must serve us. And your politics of abroad, politics of institution, politics of yimu, politics of a miniadia and your corruption by your MPP corruption.
Anytime when our backbenchers had the opportunity to be on their feet, he will use the rules. Anytime our backbenchers had the opportunity to be on their feet, he will use the rules to frustrate them. The rules are not meant to be used to intimidate, frustrate, and as he's trying to do, bring Parliament to a standstill. We've tolerated the first Deputy Speaker for quite some time. The majority leader will program the Minister of Finance to brief the House. Mr. Speaker, we say so because last week, when Nadmot was sharing some items, it came to light that at Nima and Mamobi, they were sharing baked beans. When we raised it, they now told us that the baked beans was not part of the procured items. It was a donation. Mr. Speaker, we don't know who and who have donated. This is an important matter that we believe the finance minister should brief this out. So, Mr. Speaker, you should take note. Mr. Speaker, the next issue.
Minority Leader, let me recognize the Chief Whip. He's been on his feet for
Mr.
some
Speaker,
time.
you want to recognize the...
Yes.
Very well, that's fine.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minority Leader.
The government has not introduced
Honorable Minority Leader, you promised to conclude. I want to know whether he's on the point of order.
I wanted to stop
so,
at that
Honorable
point.
Majority
Mr. Speaker,
Whip, let me hear you. Are you on point of order? Yes, what do you want to say? If you want to challenge my directives, you know what to do.
Mr. Speaker, it's not about challenging your directives.
Very
At
well.
consideration stage, the rules are relaxed to allow for full debate. If you don't need our participation, you may say so,
yes,
so
debate,
that we give it to them.
On the bill.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that's exactly what we are doing.
Yes.
That's exactly what we are doing.
Yes, you don't introduce any...
Mr. Speaker, so far, it's been good.
Yes.
Don't let the presence of the majority leader change the atmosphere.
It's not the presence of the majority
Mr. Speaker,
leader.
Don't let his presence
change in your behavior.
Mr. Speaker, don't let his presence change your mood.
No.
We've been cooperative all day long until he entered.
Yes.
Until he entered, I expressed a view about the removal of the Chief Justice because I saw removal from office. And I said that my view is that how she was removed was wrong. He has also expressed his view that the ECOWAS court upheld the unfortunate removal. Mr. Speaker,
everything about the Chief Justice should be expunged from the record.
Speaker,
I so direct.
From where? From his side?
I so direct. Honorable James Agalga, let me hear you.
Mr. Speaker, I disagree with you, but you know, you have the power. So what can we do? So we have just a very short information for you. We have observed that the first Deputy Speaker has a way of using the rules to stampede parliamentary oversight. You've all observed that he started the attack on our backbenchers. Anytime our backbenchers had the opportunity to be on their feet, he will use the rules to frustrate them. The rules are not meant to be used to intimidate, frustrate, and as he's trying to do, bring Parliament to a standstill. We've tolerated the first Deputy Speaker for quite some time. Even today, you realize that the question I was asking was a public interest question. This is a government policy that is seeking to start SIM registration afresh. They claim that people use unverifiable identities to get SIM registration cards. And our question is, at what cost? How many people were identified to have used stolen IDs and all of that? Especially so when the minister himself said it will be at no cost to the subscribers. This is a harmless question. It's the interest of the Ghanaian public to know how much it is costing the nation. In any event, the previous registration came at a cost. So we need to know what procurement processes are being followed and all of that. And this is the first deputy speaker who sits in as a presiding officer, claiming to know the rules and saying that no, it's a new question. Meanwhile, that answer was provided by the minister. And the rules under 89(1) allows you to anchor your supplementary question on an answer given by the minister. Clarify. For the purpose of clarification. So this is just our protest. We protested the posture of the first deputy speaker, using the rules to frustrate us. And as you observe, even his own side disagreed with him. The majority leader himself realized that what he was doing was wrong. Is the reason why we walked out. However, we're going back into the chamber to deal with other business. We protested his posture on this very matter, and that is it. Thank you very much indeed.
First, second deputy minority whip. We did not hear anything about the Minister of Works and Water Resources coming to this house to brief us on any policy of government on sanitation. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that the Minister of Interior, when he made a statement on this flood situation, indicated to this house that government will come with a comprehensive policy on this flood situation and how to address it. Mr. Speaker, I submit that it is not enough to declare 2 days for the purpose of cleanup. The cleanup exercise is not a solution. The solution is a well thought out policy on sanitation. That is what we need as a country. And it is becoming too late in the day. Any government determined to solve a problem the magnitude of which we saw would, without delay, announce a national policy on sanitation. Enough of the knee-jerk posture, the ad hoc measures. Mr. Speaker, we don't need them. Thousands lost property. Maybe because they are not public servants, they are not politicians, we are not talking about it. Many poor people lost their property. Many poor people lost their business. We need the government to rise to the occasion and address the nation on this matter. Mr. Speaker, it will surprise you to know that even after this matter, we have not seen any national mourning. People have died. Mr. Speaker, people have died. People have died. It is important that some official statement to commiserate, to address it. Mr. Speaker, we've seen other disasters where the president announced a national mourning. This we have not seen. Mr. Speaker, that is very important. Mr. Speaker, the second issue has to do with accountability of the 350 million that was approved by this house. Mr. Speaker, we have heard of the disbursement. We, the minority, supported government when it brought the application to the Finance Committee. It was not a majority decision. It was a unanimous decision by the committee.
Honourable Minority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
The rules are clear on the issues of accountability.
Mr. Speaker,
what has that got to do with comment on business statements?
Mr. Speaker, if I land. Please bear with me. I'm laying a foundation to the very point I want to make.
No, sometimes.
Mr. Speaker, let me finish.
Sometimes I feel that we are abusing our
Mr.
rights.
Speaker, I'm not. I am delving into the matter. Mr. Speaker, what we want as we the minority want the Minister of Finance to be programmed to come next week, Mr. Speaker, to brief this House on how the 350 million has been disbursed. Mr. Speaker, because it's a national emergency, we were expecting the majority leader to program the minister. Because, Mr. Speaker, he came under Article 177.
Honorable Minority Leader, don't you think this will be appropriate question for the Finance Minister to come and answer?
Mr. Speaker, there are several mechanisms. A question, a ministerial briefing. I am holding the view on behalf of my colleagues that the circumstances we find ourselves, our expectation is that the majority leader will program the Minister of Finance to brief the House. Mr. Speaker, we say so because last week, when NADMOD was sharing some items, it came to light that at Nima and Mamobi, they were sharing baked beans. When we raised it, they now told us that the baked beans was not part of the procured items. It was a donation. Mr. Speaker, we don't know who and who have donated. This is an important matter that we believe the Finance Minister should brief this House. So, Mr. Speaker, you should take note. Mr. Speaker, the next issue.
Minority Leader, let me recognize the Chief Whip. He's been on his feet for
Mr.
some
Speaker,
time.
you want to recognize the...
Yes.
Very well, that's fine.
Mr. Speaker, I arise on grounds that the minority leader is grossly misleading the House. Grossly misleading the House. Mr. Speaker, I rise in pursuance of Order 122. Mr. Speaker, one, the allegation that government has not been responsive. You made the allegation, that was your opening comment, that the government has not been responsive and that government should be responsive. It's totally unfounded. The government has been so responsive and moved with alacrity. You actually criticized government last week. Mr. Speaker, government has secured 350 million. Government has secured 350 million from the contingency fund, subject to the approval of the Finance Committee, which was granted, and has since been disbursed, or in the process of being disbursed. And so the claim that government has not been responsive in this matter is totally unfounded and mischievous. Number two, Mr. Speaker, just last week, as many as 3 statements were admitted by you, Mr. Speaker, and read on this floor. Those statements attracted a lot of interest from members. The statements were essentially about the consequence of the flood that we suffered, including the victims that we lost. And messages of condolences were extended to the bereaved families. So for the minority leader to get up and say that no formal statement had been made in respect of the lives that we lost is totally unfounded. A message of condolences need not come from a minister only. So this sort of politics must stop. Mr. Speaker, number three, the minority leader is on his feet and talking about procurement in terms of emergency. Is this the first time we had an emergency? During COVID and during the drought that we experienced in the north when you were in government, you got funding also from the contingency fund. Did you come to brief this out about procurement? Did you? So please, we have been here for some time, so don't get up and say things and you think that the record will bear you tomorrow. Speaker, I urge that the portions of his comments regarding this matter be expunged.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the point that was raised by the Majority Chief Whip, which makes direct reference to my leadership then as a Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, may I remind him that on the matter of the dry spell, the respected Minister of Agric, Brian Achampon, as he then was, briefed this House. I was a leader of government business. Mr. Speaker, the minority requested for a breakdown of all procurement, and he did. It is part of the records of the House. Mr. Speaker, two, the issue before this House, which I am raising, is that we have not heard the government making a declaration with respect to what has happened to those who lost their property and those who lost their lives. And I am calling on leader of government business to brief this House on steps being taken. I'm not making an allegation. I'm using language. Attention to be paid to language. That he should brief this House on what steps government is taking, Mr. Speaker. In other disasters, we heard of national mourning, 3 days of national mourning. Nothing has been said, and that is what I want the minister to brief this House on. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the contingency fund, the Chief Whip himself is saying that we gave approval for withdrawal to be made from the contingency fund under Article 177. Mr. Speaker, in this House, we have been told that indeed, because the account was garnished, government withdrew the money from other sources. Again, may I call on the Majority Leader to program the Minister of Finance to come and brief this House which government accounts they withdrew them funds from. And two, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice should come and brief this House which entity, which party, which agency, which institution, which individual garnished government account. The full dossier must be furnished this House. It's very important because, Mr. Speaker, to garnish a contingency account of the state, it's very serious. The Attorney General must fully brief this House how the AG was involved and how come, and indeed whether or not they have appealed the decision, and what is the status of that account. Mr. Speaker, the next point I want the minister, the leader of government business to brief this House has to do with, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Agric. Mr. Speaker, may I plead with the leader of government business to program the Minister of Agric to come and brief the House on the status of the Nkukon Kitinkiti initiative. Mr. Speaker, the minister is on record to have said that the beneficiaries have consumed the beds. Mr. Speaker, we want clarity as a House because, Mr. Speaker, this was supposed to be an entrepreneurial venture where they are supposed to pay back. May we know the status of it, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, finally, yes, this one. Mr. Speaker, finally, can the Minister of Justice and Attorney General be programmed, Mr. Speaker, urgently to come and brief this House on the activities of IOCO. Mr. Speaker, we are a House with oversight responsibility. Mr. Speaker, there are things that are happening. If we don't talk about it today,
Tomorrow, the other side may be wearing the shoe. Mr. Speaker, the director of communications of our party, Miracles Abuaji, was arrested and detained by Yoko at the airport. Mr. Speaker, he has been in custody for over 3 days. We are not against accountability. We are against the Rambo style. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues should not be up in arms. It can be them tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, what is happening to Miracle Abuaji is not good for our democracy. The Attorney General should come to this house and brief us of the situation. There, Yoko will arrest people if the person was in the country, has traveled, he's coming, then in a Rambo style, he's arrested. Mr. Speaker, at the airport, detained for over 3 days. Mr. Speaker, and now they are demanding properties worth 55 million cedis before he's granted bail. Let's be careful, my dear political colleagues. Let's be careful, Ghanaian political leaders. It can be somebody today. There is an election ahead. You can never tell. Don't let us encourage some of these excesses. And when we talk about it, don't look at it with a partisan lens. It can be you. Today, we hear what is happening at Gold Board. There are all manner of allegations at Gold Board. We know all manner of allegations in various state institutions. You are also in charge of the coffers. You are in charge of the purse. Be careful. Don't ask somebody. He has a wife and children. Already the man was affected by the flood. He lost everything. He's already traumatized. Miracles Abuaji is already traumatized because of the flood. Then to worsen it, you detain him for 3 days and you say if he wants his freedom, he should bring properties worth 50 million cedis. How do you do this? And this is not something that must attract a partisan reaction. It is a human rights issue. The Attorney General must come to this house and brief us on what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it's not good for the politics of our country. Some of my colleagues here, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when they speak on critical issues, they get invitation to Yoko, to BNI, and all of that. We've kept quiet about it. Now it has gotten to our party executives. We shouldn't do this to ourselves. Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't do this to ourselves. Yoko can investigate. Honorable Minority Leader. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude on it. Please conclude. I'm concluding on it. Mr. Speaker, Yoko can investigate. Yoko can do its work with a human face. An invitation to Miracles Abuaji to appear before Yoko would have solved everything. In any event, the man was already attending upon them. Anytime they invited him, he was there. Why the Rambo star? Our friends opposition should not be happy. Because, you see, Mr. Speaker, not long ago, I was there. And some of them, when they cried upon some of us, we listened and we stopped some excesses.
Honorable Minority
so we'll
Leader,
keep quiet.
Please land safely.
Mr. Speaker, I'm landing. Miracles Abuaji deserve justice. The country must not shut its eyes on the excesses by Yoko. And Majority Leader, please program the Attorney General to come before this house and address us on what is happening at Yoko. The human rights abuses, we will not take it as a house.
Honorable Kwajo Oponkruma.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I rise to second the motion that the House adopts this report from your Committee on the Economy and Development. Mr. Speaker, let me start by making the point that this is the first and the only policy document that the government has submitted to this House, apart from the economic policy that it's done for the years gone by. And Mr. Speaker, you will recall that we have on occasion requested that government presents its program documents to this House over and over again. Indeed, on the day that it was laid, the leader of government business acknowledged that we have asked over and over again. We want to encourage the government to please bring all of the other policy documents because we're almost 2 years into their administration. Mr. Speaker, the promise of the 24-hour economy was clear. 1, 3, 3. One job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Mr. Speaker, this government is almost 2 years in office. And in these 2 years, they have appropriated about 650 billion Ghana cedis. That's what this House has appropriated for government to work with. Almost 2 years on, you cannot find one government agency that is applying 1, 3, 3. For all the stories that we were told, for all the analogies that were given, 2 years on, after appropriating about 650 billion Ghana cedis, you cannot find one agency that is operating 133. Mr. Speaker, that is the biggest testimony of the fact that this entire 24-hour economy program that was so well marketed and all the issues that were raised about it, at the end of the day, it is not delivering on what it was promised. Mr. Speaker, as we went through the policy document and looked out for what the next steps were, we were told to look out for 2 specific things. One is a 24-hour economy market. 24-hour economy market. That's what we are now being told to look out for. And 2 is a list of incentives which will incentivize the private sector to start operating the 133 shift. I want to speak quickly to these 2 things that at the end of the day we are now being asked to look forward to. Because, Mr. Speaker, you will recall that the bill that was passed did not provide for all of the items in the shift that were spoken about. So now we are told to look out for these 2 things. Mr. Speaker, there are markets in this country, in many of these districts, that do not operate 24 hours. In fact, even for those traditional markets, they have to wait for what you often call a market day. Now, the government is going to spend tens of millions of Ghana cedis on building new 24-hour markets with the expectation that nothing new having been done in the economy, just the mere creation of these markets will now cause people to buy and sell in them for 24 hours. Mr. Speaker, we are of the view that it is not a prudent policy measure. That if you want to achieve 133, building 24-hour markets is what will deliver 133. In many of these places, in my district, in Ayirebi where this market is being built, there's already a market that has been constructed which doesn't work for 24 hours. There's a market that has been constructed, like in many of our villages, which has to wait for 1 week, 1 day in the week to function. What is the reason for which we believe that if we spend more money to build a new market, it will now function 24 hours? It beggars belief. Mr. Speaker, now on the question of incentives, again, almost 2 years into this government's tenure, the answer we were given is that they are now working on incentives. It betrays the priorities of this administration, Mr. Speaker, because already you have worked on tribunals bill that you have brought, because it's very important to you. Already, Mr. Speaker, you have removed the Chief Justice, because it's very important to you. But when it comes to the incentives that will now allow the private sector to possibly even work for 24 hours, assuming your model will work, the government tells us when we go for committee meeting that they are now working on those incentives. Mr. Speaker, we think it betrays their priorities, and we think that they need to speed up if indeed some incentives will be brought which will give life to the 24-hour economy. Because, Mr. Speaker, they have removed a policy measure, a major economic policy measure.
Honourable member, hold it. Yes, Honourable James.
Mr. Speaker, my colleague made a statement to the effect that they removed the Chief Justice. In that context, they removed, is referring to government. I think he should be corrected. Who removed the Chief Justice? Government didn't remove the Chief Justice. So, Mr. Speaker, let him be corrected. He should withdraw that statement. It's very important. It cannot stand in the record.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Advance your mind to Article 146 and then do the needful.
Mr. Speaker, if it is his pleasure that I withdraw that, I'm happy to do so. Everybody in this country knows what has transpired. So if you don't want it on the record, I don't have a problem with it. Mr. Speaker, now, what is at stake is that they have removed a policy measure, the one district, one factory policy, and have replaced it with this 24-hour economy policy. Mr. Speaker, the National Development Planning Commission of the Republic of Ghana reports in the annual progress report for 2024, which was published in June 2025, that there were 150 one district, one factories operating. It's not my report, it's the NDPC's report. Earlier today, the chief whip was suggesting that somebody has not read. I don't want to say that those who are surprised may not have seen the report. It's in the report. The NDPC report says at least 150 of the 1D1Fs were functioning as at the end of 2024. The policy architecture in place that would have given birth to a lot more has been removed. And now we are replacing it with a 24-hour economy policy, which is now, we are told, hinged on a 24-hour economy, market, and incentives that are yet to be birthed. Mr. Speaker, as we support the motion that this House should adopt this report, our recommendation, our advice includes the fact that this administration should go back to the 1D1F program. Go back to that program. And if you have specific issues that you think you can amend in that program, correct it. Because 2 years after you took away that program, your replacement program is not delivering any new factories, is not delivering your 24-hour economy, is not delivering your 1-3-3 shift as you promised. And Mr. Speaker, every day that we stay without an industrial program of this nature, which will incentivize the private sector to create more factories and create more jobs, every one of those days, the opportunity cost is hundreds of thousands of young Ghanaians who are sitting at home without jobs. The last time we shared with you the data on youth unemployment. The source is the Statistical Service of the Republic of Ghana, which says that youth unemployment is now at 32.4%. You asked me for the source, I've given you. Every day we stay without an industrial policy, that we have suspended 1D1F, and we are waiting for 24-hour economy, the youth are out there without jobs. And so, Mr. Speaker, I conclude by saying, while we support the report to be approved by this House, our recommendation is I go back to the 1D1F. And if there are specifics that you want to correct in it, correct it, because that policy at least was helping to ensure that these factories were being created. Within that policy architecture, Mr. Speaker, you will recall, incentives were given to automobile companies to locally assemble cars. You have suspended all of those as part of the reset. And today, the automotive companies are complaining that the incentive is gone. So we encourage you, go back to it, correct whatever errors you think you may find. But to suspend it while we are now going to build markets is not in the best interest of the Ghanaian economy. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Last. Minority Leader.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to the debate. But whilst thanking you, I would like to thank the committee for their industry, their candid views expressed, and the fact that they have managed to take this report. Mr. Speaker, it is my submission that stability is not transformation, and the committee's own report proves that. Speaker, the report seeks to celebrate disinflation to about 3.3%. If you look at paragraph 6.1.2. But Mr. Speaker, disinflation means prices are rising more slowly. It does not mean prices have come down. If you ask a market woman in my constituency, Efutu, or a trotro driver in Teshi, whether their cost of living has fallen, they will tell you, Mr. Speaker, the stability in the spreadsheet is not a relief in their pocket and in their kitchen. Mr. Speaker, I also want the record to reflect where this journey began. Inflation was already on a steep downward path before this government took office. The trajectory was set
the governor himself, per the report, inherited a stabilizing framework, including the domestic gold purchase program that this report says grew our gold from 8.7 tons in 2021 to over 40 tons. The question is, who started the program in 2021? And let those who inherited the harvest not claim that they planted the tree. In fact, Mr. Speaker, they must give to Bawumia what belongs to Bawumia. Mr. Speaker, the report also talks about the 24-hour economy, and it demolishes the policy if you read carefully paragraph 6.5. Mr. Speaker, if you read paragraph 6.5.1 of the committee's own report, agriculture receives only about 5% of the total bank lending. If you read 6.5.2, the committee itself warns that low financing to agriculture and manufacturing could undermine efforts to promote job creation and industrial growth. So I ask a simple question: which factories and with what credit will run the 3 shifts of this so-called 24-hour economy? A 24-hour economy applauding the brake pedal while promising acceleration. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy will not be delivered by government bureaucracy. It will be delivered by the private sector. Yet the private sector is not receiving the necessary incentive. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy, which finances 5% of credits to agriculture, is a 24-hour economy on paper, running 0 shifts. Mr. Speaker, what the report does not tell the House, the cost of the applause. The governor told the committee his presentation will cover the financial implications of these policy actions for the bank's balance sheet. Yet, the observations are silent on it. Why? Because the Bank of Ghana audited accounts show staggering losses and a deep negative equity. If we are adopting a report commending the bank, this House deserves the full balance sheet, not the flattering half. Mr. Speaker, the committee itself, at paragraph 6.3.4, again felt compelled to demand transparency in reserve management decisions, including conversion of gold holdings. When a committee chaired by the majority feels the need to write that sentence, Mr. Speaker, it is telling us something politely that we should plainly know. Show us the books. Show us the books. Mr. Speaker, at paragraph 6.6, the committee admits the whole edifice rests on commodity prices and geopolitics. Our stability today is rented from the gold price. Rented stability is not owned. It's not does the macroeconomic review confront the reality that the doomsday has returned, yes, and electricity tariffs keep climbing. Leader. What is the use of strong CD? Mr. Speaker, let me conclude so that he can come in. It is his usual style. So let me conclude that point. Yeah, then he can come in, then I continue. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, what is the use of a strong CD to a factory that has no power at night? You cannot run 3 shifts in the dark, and you cannot pay for the lights at these tariffs. And Mr. Speaker, while we celebrate reserves at $13.8 billion, Cocoa Bowl's debt to buying companies, money owed for cocoa already supplied by our farmers, remain largely unpaid. So, Mr. Speaker, a state flush with reserves but slow to pay its farmers has its priorities upside down. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, reserves in the vaults, yes, farmers are in arrest, and the factories are in darkness. That is the real state of this economy. Mr. Speaker, let me state unequivocally that, Mr. Speaker, today in Ghana, rice, maize, yam in Ghana, rice, maize, yam locally produced are more expensive than imported rice and maize. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the government
Honorable Minority
the government
Leader.
has not introduced
Honorable Minority
any
Leader,
alternate.
you promised to conclude.
Oh, very
I
well,
want to know whether
Mr.
he's on
Speaker,
the point of order.
I wanted to
So,
stop at that
Honorable
point.
Majority
Mr. Speaker,
Chief Whip,
I
let
wanted
me
to
hear
stop at that
you.
point.
Are you on point of order?
The report presently that the House, please, is misleading the House on grounds that, Mr. Speaker, the report we are considering is the 24-hour economy and accelerated development program, Mr. Speaker. But the minority leader, unfortunately, is reading the report of the conduct of monetary policy and microeconomic review of banking sector. Please, Mr. Speaker, please, Mr. Speaker, he is quoted verbatim. No, there's no connection, please. Speaker, please, you are quoting verbatim from, I've listened, that is why I am able to detect. That, no, please, I'm a Democrat, but let me align you. Speaker is quoting verbatim from a report that we already considered and done with. So it should focus on the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program. So if you want to quote and make your points, we expect that the quotations will emanate from this document, because that's all you are saying. So please focus on this one and abandon this. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, you construe every document, read it in extenso, make reference, so that members will appreciate the debate. So I was making a cross-reference, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, you've realized that has become his modus operandi, to always try to obstruct. But you know, when it gets your turn, I will deal with you. Mr. Speaker, again, they canceled the 1D1F policy. In its place, no policy alternative. No policy alternative. Mr. Speaker, if you say you want to achieve one job, 3 shifts, you want to run a 24-hour economy, one of the incentives to drive this is electricity. Since they came into office, they have increased electricity tariffs by almost 30%. What incentive do you have? We propose to them that they should continue the reform we started, but they will not listen. Mr. Speaker, 24-hour economy with high electricity tariffs, how can people afford? Meanwhile, the energy sector levy was also introduced, that if you buy a liter of petrol, you pay 1 cedi. So you have compounded the problems of the private sector and the households, yet you say you want to create a 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, that is wrong. Mr. Speaker, a government that says it wants to create 1 job, 3 shifts, they are on record to have embarked on mass dismissal of public sector employees. If you look at even today, Mr. Speaker, our order paper, page 25, motion 40 addresses it. If you are committed to creating jobs, you don't commit to dismissing people. This motion we have here, which is over a year, is aimed at restoring those who lost their jobs. So you are a walking contradiction. Very inconsistent. You say you are creating jobs, but you are dismissing people. No, there's no job creation. Mr. Speaker, let me even deal with the
Minority Leader. Honorable Adongo has been on his feet.
Mr. Speaker, he is a backbencher, and then he rises on a point of order against his leader when there are leaders who can.
Honorable Adongo is not a backbencher.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, Menyolo.
He's not a backbencher.
No, Mr. Speaker, he's my junior in this house.
He's the chairman
when
of
there
the
are leaders, no, but that is why you are
committee.
here. He is not the chairman of the committee, Mr. Speaker.
He's the chairman of the finance committee.
Mr. Speaker, don't grant this.
Please.
He is a junior.
You have
and
the
there
floor.
are seniors who
Let
can
me
rise
know
on a point
why
of
you
order.
want to interrupt the debate.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Adongo,
as it pleases you.
You have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate to have to do this. This is a House of Records. When a government decides, if a government, yes, I've said this is a House of Records and nobody should be misled. It's unfortunate I have to do what I'm doing to my leader.
Jerry,
That's
it is
what I'm
not
saying.
done in any democracy. You need to catch the eye of the speaker before you can speak.
I'm saying that this is a House of Records and we have to be factual. The fact that a government wants to create jobs doesn't mean that people should illegally get onto the payroll. So when people illegally get into the payroll, it does not detract the government.
So, Honorable Adongo,
what do you think is this?
Why are you interrupting the debate?
You want me to tell you what you want to hear, and I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear.
Please. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we are aware of the emergency board meeting at Bank of Ghana when they wanted to force you to honor the Ganeshi, the 350 million. We are aware. If you want to go there, we'll go there with you. If you want to go there, we'll call for a probe. Mr. Speaker, now let's deal with the Feed Ghana initiative. Mr. Speaker, this government introduced the Feed Ghana initiative. And the Feed Ghana was aimed at introducing poultry that would create jobs. We celebrated them. We said that's a good initiative. But Mr. Speaker, what were the guardrails to ensure that that capital from the state that was invested was returned? The Minister of Agriculture, on record, stated that those who were giving the birds, Mr. Speaker, in his own words, they have consumed them. Mr. Speaker, he again said that they sent him videos as evidence. Mr. Speaker, if a government is introducing a policy to create jobs, and the very job that the policy is supposed to create is leading to losses, if you are doing investment, invest. Don't invest in consumption. Invest in a project that will bring you returns. So you went to share beds to your party members to consume them. The broilers were never sold. Mr. Speaker, a friend from Choco told me that I made a warfare. Mr. Speaker, in other words, as the minister said, they've eaten it. But they were supposed to sell. They were supposed to rear the birds and sell, and the ones that will lay eggs to sell their egg and reinvest. Mr. Speaker, now let me ask, now that they have consumed the birds, what will become of them? What is the accountability in it? You guys are talking about accountability. So your party members who got the birds that they say they've consumed and are giving evidence to the minister, are you going to send them to Yoko? Because it is state funds, it's also amount to looting. However, the amount. Mr. Speaker, now let me get to the next point. Mr. Speaker, the gold board. 24-hour economy means investing in the economy, especially agriculture, so that the economy is stimulated. We depend on locally produced food, less dependency on import, and grow our economy and stabilize our city. Mr. Speaker, what the government is doing is over-emphasizing on the goal for reserve. And what they are doing, Mr. Speaker, largely is to encourage galamsey. It's the reason why the organized labor
at May Day publicly indicated that Galamsey has increased. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, there is no distinction between regularly mined gold and Galamsey mined gold. They buy everything. And you cannot use one sector alone to the disadvantage of other sectors of the economy. So you cannot achieve 24-hour economy on paper. Mr. Speaker, it is wrong. They lack the understanding of the policy itself. Mr. Speaker, my last important point. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the finance minister has not introduced a policy that would create an enabling environment for industry, the private sector, to access patients' capital. Mr. Speaker, I have to explain that terminology. I'm an entrepreneur. Mr. Speaker, and when I use certain terminologies, I will explain. Mr. Speaker, industry needs patients' capital. Patients' capital is that capital that is paid back in the long term, 8, 10, 15 years. Mr. Speaker, they have failed totally to create that enabling environment. Mr. Speaker, when the minority met the AGI, when the minority met the Ghana Employers Association, when the minority met Guta, they told us that there's policy mismatch. And minority did not do that in secrecy. We got the cameras there to observe proceedings and report on them. Industry players were loud, unequivocal, and bold. They said there is policy mismatch. The policy mismatch is not encouraging that stimulation. It's not helping them to grow the economy. Mr. Speaker, it is only the private sector that can grow economy. By the way, we are also aware that they have, of course, by the way, we are aware that you have overburdened the private sector with taxes. VAT, yes. VAT, Mr. Speaker, you have increased the VAT and even expanded it. You know, you came with the legislation. And the worst of all, you introduced this so-called publica. An AI tool that you use to assess the duty, the excise duty. We are not against AI, but you see, with AI, if you feed it with garbage, you get garbage out. You must implement it properly, get the right data. Importers are suffering. Importers are suffering. And when importers are suffering and folding up their businesses, how do you create a 24-hour economy? Mr. Speaker, we are not interested in political talk. Settings. We are not talking about the optics, making noise and dancing, Mahama, hey, Mahama, hey. No. You, the majority, can heckle me. But in your heart, you know that no jobs are being created in your constituencies. One of you should rise and challenge me that there's an industry, 1.5 years. You have industry growing in your various constituencies. One of you should rise. One of you should rise and tell me the number of jobs created for the youth who supported you in the campaign. Even recruitment into security services, you couldn't get your protocol. They couldn't help you. Then you come and heckle the minority leader who is speaking for you and speaking for the private sector. You better commend me. Mr. Speaker, 24-hour economy on paper. Mr. Speaker, I speak boldly and passionately because I am a private sector player. I meet my industry friends and they tell me the story and I know it. We are paying too much taxes. There's no incentive. You bring in equipment, raw materials, and there's no incentive. Mr. Speaker, I am telling my colleagues that beyond the debates, let's face the reality.
Beyond the settings.
It is not the partisanship here.
Beyond the settings.
This report does not talk about anything, any supporting pillar by government to create jobs. You are sacking people. You are increasing electricity. You set up a minister for reform, public sector, ministry for public sector reform. There is no public sector reform. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm concluding. One way at achieving this 24-hour economy is to reform our economy. You brought a minister. I vetted that minister. That woman has become redundant. Mr. Speaker, that ministry is redundant. You are not pursuing any reform. There is no reform. So if you are not reforming the economy, if you are not reforming the structures of states to create an enabling environment, yeah, don't mind Adongo. He is serving on the central bank board. Very lucrative, juicy job board. He's enjoying that, so you want to rise on a point of order. Instead of him to listen like the way you guys are listening, he is rising. Member of the board, member of some committee at Bank of Ghana. He get recruitment, he get job allowance, he get everything. So he's rising on a point of order. Mr. Speaker, let us ensure as political leaders.
With all due respect,
Speaker,
I don't think we should be
Mr. Speaker, he's interrupting me
this way.
Mr. Speaker, what did I do? You know how much I respect you.
He's
I am a senior,
on the board,
and he rises and he's talking across. Mr.
Please.
Speaker, I can take it out. I can take it out, but let him behave himself.
Please.
Because he's not speaking into the mic, but he's saying words that are unacceptable. So he should sit down. If he has anything, he should pass it on to his leader. Mr. Speaker, you know I will listen to you. He doesn't. Mr. Speaker, we will respect you. Mr. Speaker, you know this side, we always respect you. There are the people who disrespect you.
You see,
Mr. Speaker, I've withdrawn that. He should sit down.
Standing Order 122 is not an exclusive preserve for leaders.
Mr. Speaker, please.
Order 122 is not an exclusive preserve for leaders.
Mr. Speaker, what exactly is Order 122 saying?
Order 122 is interruption of debate.
Mr. Speaker, I agree, but what I'm saying is that when a man rises on a point of order, his duty is to be silent with his hands behind him and wait upon the speaker. That's not what he's doing. He is shouting, using unparliamentary words against his leader. That is what I'm reprimanding him on.
You see, somebody said, I allow people to speak out of context. There is a motion on the floor. I believe, properly speaking, we should address ourselves within the terms of the motion. However, the jury is out there. If you choose to go outside the motion, I will just look at you to do it. But when somebody is on his feet to interrupt the debate and the rules allow debate to be interrupted under Standing Order 122, I will recognize the person.
As it pleases you, you interpret the law, the rules. I will not challenge you. I will not challenge you. So, Mr. Speaker, I would conclude by saying that, Mr. Speaker, when the government announced that it was introducing 1 job, 3 shifts, the youth of the country were happy and expectant. To the extent that the youth relied on that promise and voted the government in, a legitimate expectation was created. Mr. Speaker, to the extent that the youth of this country rely on that promise and voted for this government, a legitimate expectation arose. It is our duty as minority to remind government that you cannot talk on the political platform, get the power and resolve. You can't resolve. Ensure that your policies are well anchored on your own promises. Mr. Speaker, these promises that you made, you thought you were just making the promises. After getting power, you get away with it. You cannot get away with it. However, our numbers, we are just 87. But our voices are strong. We've done good research. We can remind you of the promises and let Ghanaians know that you misled them and that you don't walk the talk. Even your own 189, you cannot create an enabling environment for their constituents. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude by saying that this report before this House is a wake-up call to government itself. Honorable Eric Afo, my respected colleague who signed this report with a hard-working clerk, what they have done must be a wake-up call to government. Simply put, when you read this report, it tells of a simple story: failure by government to implement its own policy. The women banking, you said the women, you give them credit. The credit was supposed to be an incentive for this 24-hour economy. You have 40 women on your side. They go to their constituencies. The women ask for the loans. You have 40 women on the majority side. When they go to their constituencies, the women in their constituencies are demanding for the loan, the credit facility, the market women. They all want money to trade. And you sit here, point of order, point of order, point of order. When you recently visited Jubilee House, we thought there was going to be warfare. It was only talk. Promise, and they didn't do anything for you. So you and I are the same. We are the same. Mr. Speaker, we say that if there is going to be 24-hour economy, it shouldn't be just talk. Create the jobs. The foot soldiers who fought for you at the polling station, they are suffering. They are hungry.
That's why they are.
And then you are bringing here, you say they shouldn't eat the birds. They've eaten them.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to conclude, we want the government to sit with us because, Mr. Speaker, issues of employment is a national issue. And in fact, inability of government to resolve unemployment issue becomes a security issue. So it is the promise of the minority that should government call upon us to sit around the table to discuss a true policy to create jobs, Mr. Speaker, we are more than willing. Mr. Speaker, we would encourage them and also advise them that in doing so, don't create any impression that will put doubts on the minds of investors, especially on rule of law, like the way you've arrested Miracle Abuaji, keeping him for 3 days. Mr. Speaker, it's against the rule of law. The sacking of the Chief Justice, it gives a wrong signal. We would teach you, Mr. Speaker, how to behave so that you can bring investment. Mr. Speaker, that said, I want to thank you.
Very well. Yes.
Speaker, if you look at 15.2 and 15.4, they are one and the same. Save that the 15.4 makes 15.2 rather superfluous. I, reading the two, see more elegance in the 15.4. Obviously, in the appointment of a chancellor, the university would rely on its own statute, which statute will provide the criteria, the modality, how adverts should be done, the selection process, and all of that. I mean, in other legislations, we did not provide for this. We simply talked about the appointment of a chancellor. The modalities and what have you, we left it to the statute of the university. We left it to the council to rely on the statute to prescribe how it should go about it by way of the criteria, so to speak. Now, if in this legislation we want to further state for emphasis so that there will be no ambiguity, then I would suggest that we rely on the 4 and abandon 2. The 2 is saying council shall appoint a chancellor for the university in accordance with the statute of the university. That is fair enough. However, if you read 4, the 4 is more elaborate. It's saying that the criteria and modalities for nomination
and the election of the Chancellor shall be prescribed by the Council in the statutes of the university. Mr. Speaker, I have a problem. The Chancellor position is an appointed position. It's not an elected one. So, Mr. Speaker, if the 4 in its present form is problematic, it's introducing something new which is not envisaged. Election is election. Appointment is appointment. If you say that there shall be an appointment of the Chancellor, meaning that a body would meet, interview individual applicants, and out of them select the best that, in their view, would be able to handle the affairs of that office as Chancellor. Now, if in 4, you now talk about nomination and election, Mr. Speaker, you are saying 2 different things altogether. 2 different things. It means that somebody will be nominated, or the council will nominate 1 or 2 people, vet them and say, go for election. Election, who and who will constitute the college to elect? We know of the Pro-Vice Chancellor. In some legislation, like UEW, the Pro-VC is elected for 2 years, whereas the Vice Chancellor is appointed. So we said so. All right, we said so in the tenor and how that appointment is effected. So, Mr. Speaker, the 4 that I wanted to lend support to is rather problematic. So we should delete the 4 and then rely on the 2, so that the 2 states where you say in accordance with the statutes, because that is what we know as the existing practice, where the universities rely on their statute, because in their statute they will provide for the modalities.
Yes.
Speaker, if you look at 15.2 and 15.4, they are one and the same. Save that the 15.4 makes 15.2 rather superfluous. I, reading the 2, see more elegance in the 15.4. Obviously, in the appointment of a chancellor, the university would rely on its own statute. Which statute will provide the criteria, the modality, how adverts should be done, the selection process, and all of that. I mean, in other legislations, we did not provide for this. We simply talked about the appointment of a chancellor. The modalities and what have you, we left it to the statute of the university. We left it to the council to rely on the statute to prescribe how it should go about it by way of the criteria, so to speak. Now, if in this legislation we want to further state for emphasis so that there will be no ambiguity, then I would suggest that we rely on the 4 and abandon 2. The 2 is saying, Council shall appoint a chancellor for the university in accordance with the statutes of the university. That is fair enough. However, if you read 4, the 4 is more elaborate. It's saying that the criteria and modalities for nomination and the election of the chancellor shall be prescribed by the council in the statutes of the university. Mr. Speaker, I have a problem. The chancellor position is an appointed position. It's not an elected one. So, Mr. Speaker, if the 4 in its present form is problematic, it's introducing something new which is not envisaged. Election is election. Appointment is appointment. If you say that there shall be an appointment of the chancellor, meaning that a body would meet, interview individual applicants,
and out of them select the best that, in their view, would be able to handle the affairs of that office as Chancellor. Now, if in 4, you now talk about nomination and election, Mr. Speaker, you are saying 2 different things altogether. 2 different things. It means that somebody will be nominated, or the council will nominate 1 or 2 people, vet them and say, go for election. Election, who and who constitute the college to elect? We know of the Pro-Vice Chancellor. In some legislation, like UEW, the Pro-VC is elected for 2 years, whereas the Vice Chancellor is appointed. So we said so. All right, we said so in the tenor and how that appointment is effected. So, Mr. Speaker, the 4 that I wanted to lend support to is rather problematic. So we should delete the 4 and then rely on the 2, so that the 2 states where you say in accordance with the statutes, because that is what we know as the existing practice, where the universities rely on their statute, because in their statute they will provide for the modalities. So, Mr. Speaker, I would suggest, therefore, that we maintain 2 and delete the 4. Mr. Speaker, that said, let me do the proper legislative thing. I move that subclause 4 be deleted in its entirety. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Yasa.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to respectfully disagree with the minority leader and say that, Mr. Speaker, you know, in the process of nominating a vice chancellor, a president, or other related offices of our institutions of higher learning, there is always what they call a search party. The search party goes out to search for who qualifies or most suitable for that role according to a certain criteria. This criteria is often spelled out in the statutes. And so 2 and 4 are talking about related but differentiated things. 2 is talking about the council's capacity to appoint, and that it shall appoint on the basis of the statutes. But 4 is telling us that there shall be a nomination based on a criteria that is spelled out in the statutes. And so I pray you to allow both clauses to stay for elaboration. 1 is talking about appointment, 1 is talking about criteria for nomination to subsequent appointment. I so move, Mr. Speaker, that we allow it to stay. Thank you.
But the only challenge is that if you want to maintain the...
Yes, Minority Leader.
Speaker, with great respect to Dr. Gisal, you know that ordinarily he and I will agree, just as I always try to agree with the respected minority leader Harun Idrisu, as he then was. Before he was removed. As he then was. Mr. Speaker, but if the respected Dr. Gisal reads carefully how 15.4 has been rendered, it will immediately strike him that it is talking about something completely unrelated to 2. If, as you argue...
Honorable Minority Leader, I think we can cure the mischief in 4 by deleting and election.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, very well, but let me finish with respect.
Very well.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, the 4 is supposed to qualify the 2 from your argument. But, Mr. Speaker, much as we may want to
deal with the cure by deleting the election. Mr. Speaker, there's another problem. Nomination. We cannot leave, once you are talking about nomination and election. Nomination.
I'm proposing that we delete an election.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
So it will be the modalities.
Mr. Speaker,
for the nomination.
Yeah, so Mr. Speaker, with respect, I want to be on the same page with you. Mr. Speaker, in two, it is very clear. The council shall appoint. So the power of appointment is not ambiguous. It means that there will be a search party that would set out the criteria, what qualification essential for the office, and when the search party receives applications, what it does is that it would conduct an interview, submit a report to council to be deliberated upon, and a decision is made, be it by a vote or consensus. Mr. Speaker, the word nomination does not come into play when you are dealing with issue of appointment.
Honorable Minority Leader, on that note, I beg to differ.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me to... Mr. Speaker, if you allow me to finish...
Yes, just by way of giving you an example, you and I, we serve on the appointment committee. And we know before our exercise begin, the nomination will come. Then we will vet the person, bring it here for approval before the appointment
Mr. Speaker, bear with me. The word in context, my argument, the burden of the submission is properly anchored on context. I am submitting, respectfully, Mr. Speaker, that the use of nomination in the context as I find it depart completely from the intent contained in 2. Mr. Speaker, let's read carefully. Again, at the risk of being repetitive. 2 says the council shall appoint a chancellor for the university in accordance with the statutes of the university. Mr. Speaker, this is elegant enough. Now it goes further in 4 to say that the criteria and modalities for nomination and election of the chancellor shall be prescribed by the council in the statutes of the university. Mr. Speaker, with respect, this is superfluous. Mr. Speaker has suggested that. But I'm saying that if you take the leg and the limbs are still hanging, causing problem, then take both of them off. Nomination and election must go off. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, taking them out, let's then proceed to take out entire 4. Because it doesn't cure anything. You said it is giving meaning, giving effect to 2. And I'm saying that 2 is elegant and explanatory enough. You don't need any secondary phrase to give effect to the 2. Because 2 talks about the statute, that the appointment should be in accordance with statutes. It has said so. Council cannot go outside of it. I don't understand why the minority chief whip is so busy. This is the time your industry is required. Why are you so busy? So come lend support to my argument. Why are you so busy, majority chief whip? Why are you so busy with some other matters? Come on board. This is your time, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the minority leader, Honorable Aaron Edrusi, as he then was, is on his feet.
Yeah, so I recognize him.
Very well. Mr. Speaker is on his feet. And his sole purpose for rising is to support this argument that we should maintain the 2 and take away the 4.
Why are you
because
being
2 is
preemptive?
very elegant enough, Mr. Speaker.
Why are you being preemptive?
No, Mr. Speaker, he's my very respected senior.
So you know his mind.
Mr. Speaker, he knows how much I respect him.
You know his mind.
Mr. Speaker, he is a learned senior colleague, and he's taught us the trade of parliamentary advocacy. And I know when he returns on his posture, I know which direction he's going.
Very well.
Yes.
The
He does not
minority leader can
disagree
predict your
on this
posture.
occasion.
Mr. Speaker, if we can make an improve, I do get the sense of what the Honorable Chair, now supported by Minority Leader. So probably, Mr. Speaker, 15.2 can read, the Council shall appoint a Chancellor of the University, then delete the rest of the words, then 4 and the entire clause can stay. I so move. No, the 4 can still stay. Is it? No, you know, a university is a university. When they go into conclave, they may define the process by which a chancellor may emerge.
So that is where the problem is coming from. So the 4, the criteria and the modalities for the nomination of the chancellor, should it be in the statute of the university, or it should just be prescribed by the council? Prescribed by the council in the statute of the university. Very well.
Mr. Speaker, it should be prescribed in the
because
statute.
The initial understanding that I'm getting is that once the person is elected, how can we be elected for appointment? That's why I'm proposing that we should delete the election, because once you are elected, it concludes the matter. So election means that you are elected to occupy a position. So who will then appoint you after you being elected? So election and appointment is having the same effects. That's why I am proposing that we can do away with the election. Yes.
Speaker, we agree to disagree and we build consensus. I think what senior colleague proposed, that the council shall appoint a chancellor for the university, we end there for 2. Mr. Speaker, I would want to yield to that, so that in accordance with the statute of the university is deleted. That's elegant. But then when we come here down to 4, since we want to keep the 4, then we say the criteria and modalities for the appointment of the chancellor shall be prescribed by the council in the statute of the university. So then the criteria and modalities for appointment shall be prescribed in the statute of the university. Mr. Speaker, I think that is fair.
I think for there to be the appointment, there will first be a nomination.
No, Mr. Speaker, no, Mr. Speaker, no. There is already in the statute the criteria and modalities for the appointment, so that covers it.
Mr. Speaker,
I'm not the owner. I am only giving effect to what they have said.
That is why I'm saying that let them own it.
Very well, Mr. Speaker. Their owners, the records have it.
Yes, so Che, get up and move the amendment in 2.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we are teaching them. We are guiding them. So move the new rendition. But try and recognize in the harness industry.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In recognizing the Minister of Education proposal,
state his previous position and say, as he's not enjoying an education minister. They are not giving
Mr. Speaker, the new rendition for 15 subclause 2 shall read, the council shall appoint a chancellor for the university. Full stop.
All members, it is for the consideration of the House. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Now to clause 15.4.
15 for us and owner. This is as an owner.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Speaker, in reference to the Honorable Minority Leader and the Osahene, I propose for the new rendition to read the criteria and modalities for the appointment of the Chancellor shall be prescribed by the Council in the statutes of the university.
I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye.
For the appointment.
Those against say no. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now to the entire clause 15. Yes.
Speaker, my humble view is that we should realign the internal structure of 15. Now, 2 talks about appointment. Now, 4 is talking about the modalities. So my suggestion is that the 4 should be 3. Then we can bring 3 to the place of 4.
Well, if that is the sense of the House, I'll direct the drafters to take care of that for us.
Mr. Speaker, just for clarity, I've read the memorandum accompanying this bill. I just want clarity. I've seen many uniform in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, I want to be sure. No, sure, please. Let me get clarity. Is it the Ministry of Defense that is going to be the supervisory ministry, or is the Minister of Education? I just want clarity. Right. So the ministry is going to be under the Minister of Education.
But if it is the Ministry of Defense, the Minister of Education will not be here sponsoring the bill.
Mr. Speaker, if you read the memorandum accompanying the bill, 2 ministries have been mentioned. Mr. Speaker, I have seen many uniform taking notes in this chamber, save that they are not armed, so we are safe. Mr. Speaker, I want to know whether the Ministry of Education will be responsible for this university, or it will be under the supervision of the Ministry of Defense. The Minister of Education is here. He should clarify. We need to know. Because already there's a challenge. Get fund. Who does
so,
get
Honorable
fund
Minority Leader, this is clear from the person who signs the bill. It's clear from the person who signs the bill.
Mr. Speaker, we are here learning. Mr. Speaker, we are learning. So if you say so, Mr. Speaker, we rest our case.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well.
Mr.
Yes.
Speaker. Yes.
So I'll now put a question on the entire clause 15 as variously amended. The question is, all those in favor of clause 15 as variously amended standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 15 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. And I thereafter direct the drafters to rearrange the numbering. Clause 16.
Vacancy in office of the Chancellor.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, I propose that the advertised amendment proposed is abandoned, because if you look at the earlier bills that we have passed, the expiry of the term of the Chancellor is indicated. And in any case, once his or her term is over, there is a vacancy in the office of the Chancellor. So, Mr. Speaker, I move that we
Very well.
The
The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is accordingly abandoned. However, clause 16 is for the consideration of the House. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And I'm particularly happy that the chairman have had to abandon his amendment, because in 2 practical situations, Mr. Speaker, we've been confronted with the reality of the expiry of the term of office, together with the complex issue of retirement age. A vice chancellor may be appointed, whilst a vice chancellor is still less than 60 years. If that vice chancellor becomes 60, statutory compulsory retirement becomes mandatory for that vice chancellor. So the case of the University of Cape Coast is a good example where there was debate as to whether upon the statutory mandatory age of 60, that person should still hold office as vice chancellor, even though he's required to statutorily exit office. So I'm happy that the chairman is abandoning it, that there must be expiration of the term that the person appointed to the office is required to serve. I thank you.
I will then put a question on entire clause 16 as many. Yes.
Speaker, just because we are using words and phrases, we need to clarify them so that no mischief maker is given room to operate in future. Mr. Speaker, I have seen 16(1)(b), incapacitation. Mr. Speaker, incapacitation. Mr. Speaker, the Chancellor's role, as I have read, is largely and generally ceremonial. He does not have executive powers in the management of the university and its affairs. It's an honorary role. You want to honor somebody in society, to use his influence to attract funding, to give a certain image boost for enrollment, relationship, networking, some experienced person, so to speak. So, Mr. Speaker, if we come here, an honorary role, then we say incapacitation. Mr. Speaker, we should be mindful of how toxic our political environment can be sometimes. Where there's a change of power and a chancellor has an unexpired term, and some mischief maker within the political setting would want to now say, oh, the man is unwell. We have heard that he's been hospitalized for 3 months, so he's incapacitated. Meanwhile, he can perform his role as a ceremonial head. So, Mr. Speaker, this incapacitation thing, I move that it be deleted. Mr. Speaker.
Well, before you conclude moving that it be deleted, I just want to bring it to your attention that it is the same in clause 16(b) in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Act 2025. And it may be similar in all the universities bills that we have passed.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I've heard you. But that is why we are, as legislators, can change our minds. We've enacted in other laws, we kept it there. It does not mean that having a critical look at this and being fully aware of the political ecosystem we all operate in. This has to do with defense. Our men and women in uniform. We don't want that environment to also get polluted and get toxic. So, Mr. Speaker, I would move that notwithstanding any other provision in related law, this be deleted. And I'm happy that the firm called the avant-garde of government business agrees with me on this matter. I want his voice to be heard for record.
Yes, Honorable
Speaker, I agree with the leader regarding these indices as we are indicating in the law. Speaker, when we say incapacitation is ambiguous. Incapacitation of mind, is it infirmity of mind or physical incapacitation? It's not clear, unless we want to go to the interpretation clause and define it. If you don't want to do that, then we must redraft this provision. I agree that we must have done so in the recent legislation of the Kwame Nkrumah University, but yeah, all of them. But you see, as a house, we have the power to improve on legislation. So I agree that this can be a source. This alone can be a source of litigation. Because if you want to proceed against a chancellor that there is evidence of incapacitation, so yes, it's an evidence that you must need to establish, and you can litigate this for some period. So, for the sake of clarity, the Constitution itself is clear. It's the infirmity of mind. Then we are being clear. Or physical disabilities. So we can actually disaggregate this into two. Or, Mr. Speaker, we go and interpret it, or we take it out completely. Because we have enough grounds to be able to justify this. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, if he has to stay, then I urge that we look at the meaning of incapacitation. If he has to be a ground for somebody to leave and for a vacancy to occur, who determines the incapacitation? Medical records, evidence must be led, all that. So I believe that we should be able to say that physical incapacitation or mental incapacitation, that's infirmity of mind. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I would urge, Mr. Speaker, I would urge that clause 15, it stays as it is. Clause 16, sorry, Mr. Speaker, the matter of incapacitation. And to assume that, Mr. Speaker, in government, we are reasonable. The president is a reasonable person, the minister is a reasonable person. I currently have two situations where the chair of a council have had to be taken ill and flown abroad. Now, the circumstance, how can he function effectively as chair of the council? The same thing, we may have a chancellor of a university in a state that is difficult of incapacitation. Once you don't make provision for it, it becomes difficult. So I would think that just as is in the UST Act,
the cabinet so in huge numbers.
At any time, your mind, mental incapacity, physical incapacity, any can be a victim of it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Education, he is a man who reasons and he has a broader understanding of governance. But we don't have those who think like him in huge numbers. There are those who do mischief. Mr. Speaker, recently we heard him boldly talking about bail and all of that. Express his legal understanding of the law and caution against the excesses there too. That is Harun Idrisu. The majority leader who has just entered equally will not allow excesses. No, he went for cabinet meeting, which I know he was at cabinet meeting. And he has closed from cabinet meeting. And he has come into the chamber. He has gotten back into the chamber. He just came in from cabinet. Mr. Speaker, I would have preferred he went to rest after cabinet. So, Mr. Speaker, some people may want to take advantage. Mr. Speaker, some people will take advantage and cause mischief with this word incapacitation. Mr. Speaker, it can be used in good ways and in bad ways. So, Honorable Arne Drusu, we cannot be sure of who would want to trigger this incapacitation for political purpose. It is too broad a word and it's too general. Any part of it, a slice of it can be used for anything. So let us delete. Or, Mr. Speaker, as I heard the majority chief whip, let's get the draft person to give it a different interpretation at the interpretation session. Majority leader, though you've not spoken into the mic, but I would agree with you that the sense of the House specifically is to get this thing, the mischief in that word, cured by way of interpretation. So, Mr. Speaker, you can make a referral to the draft person to give an
particularly
interpretation.
with a change of government that we are talking about. If you come to C is talking about removal from office. So if you can be removed from office,
No, but
and
removal,
then you are
Mr. Speaker,
incapacitated.
Mr. Speaker, the removal here is not the one Mr. Speaker, not the Rambo Star one against Tokonu that happened recently. That is not what is being emphasized here. Mr. Speaker, the Tokonu one, the Chief Justice removal was, hey, Mr. Speaker, where even the majority leader specializes in point of order at the vetting. Mr. Speaker, he was there to ensure that they carry through that mandate to get a new Chief Justice as quickly as possible. Mr. Speaker, that removal in 146 was abused. Mr. Speaker, they abuse it. And it's been introduced here. Mr. Speaker, I can't be sure. We should even define the removal. Mr. Speaker, we should define it.
let me hear Honorable James Agaga, then I'll come to you, leader.
Mr. Speaker, the word incapacitate. Oh, leader. No. Anyway, let me yield to leader.
Very well.
Leader. I wanted to I'm responding. Oh, no. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
No, Mr. Speaker, certain things should not be part of our records. To say that the removal of a Chief Justice was abused is clearly not right, especially when the Chief Justice went up to the ECOWAS court and ECOWAS court said the removal, there was nothing wrong with it. As far as ECOWAS court. So the whole of West Africa agrees that there was nothing wrong with the removal.
Honorable Majority Leader, I agree with you, because this is a House of Record. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, it's a statement of opinion. It's a political statement, Mr. Speaker. Political statement must be allowed. They are permissible. It's a political statement I'm making that the mode of removal was wrong. Mr. Speaker, I'm not talking about judicial interpretation here. I'm making a political statement.
This is your view.
Honorable
It is not the
members,
first time, Mr. Speaker.
he is admitting that is his opinion. Now, that opinion may be right or wrong, and it's not the subject matter of our record. So I would direct that it be expunged from the record. Yes, Honorable James Agaga, let me hear you.
Yes. So
we are doing consideration of a bill. Yes, what do you want to say? If you want to challenge my directives, you know what to do.
Mr. Speaker, it's not about challenging your directives.
Very
At
well.
consideration stage, the rules are relaxed to allow for full debate. If you don't need our participation, you may say so,
yes,
so
debate,
that we give it to them.
On the bill.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, that's exactly what we are doing.
Yes.
That's exactly what we are doing.
Yes, you don't introduce any.
Mr. Speaker, so far, it's been good.
Yes.
Don't let the presence of the majority leader change the atmosphere.
It's not the presence of the majority
Speaker,
leader.
Don't let his presence change your mood.
In your behavior.
Mr. Speaker, don't let his presence change your mood.
No.
We've been cooperative all day long until he entered.
Yes.